As always, I'm Ryan Miller, joined by Scott Elgison. Scott, hello.
Hello, Ryan.
And
How
this
is how is Shaolin?
Shaolin is doing great. I'm right down the block from where Wu-Tang Clan was actually born and raised, so I'm feeling very, very Staten Island pride today. And with us this week, we're so lucky to be joined by Sam and Veronica from TikTok. Guys, thanks for hopping on the stream today.
Yeah, Ryan, Scott, thanks so
Happy to
much
be
for
here.
having us.
Yeah, excited to have you here. And we'd be remiss not to talk about it right off the bat, just given how much TikTok has been in the news lately. Sam, you want to just elaborate a little bit on TikTok's current U.S. positioning and what's going on?
Yeah, no, I'm more than happy to. I think obviously, Ryan, you allude to the fact there's been a press cycle, but we're very active, I should say, in the press cycle. A lot of questions coming in just in terms of where we stand in this kind of geopolitical climate, and certainly a lot of news about us here in the U.S. And I think, for us, I've been here about 2 years now, and I think certainly have seen us in different press cycles and different ways of kind of looking at our platform here. And truly, it all comes back to this mission of really trying to inspire creativity and bring joy to our users in the U.S., around the world. We've really seen that come to life in these past few months, certainly while we're all sheltering at home. And I think ultimately, as a platform, we have no higher priority than promoting a safe and secure app experience. We've never provided any data to the Chinese government, nor would we do so if we were asked. We're led by Kevin Meyer as our American CEO. We have employees and leaders across, safety, security, and really focused on protecting, focused on public policy and product and protection here in the U.S. So I personally am very proud. I know the team, we're growing rapidly. I think if you look at a recent chart, we're now in the thousands. We just announced we're going to have 10,000 jobs in the next 3 years for TikTok here. So we're really proud of that work we've accomplished. And, overall, we truly feel like it's certainly at a time where people are coming to us for joy and creativity, but also a little bit more for solace. We're proud of what we've accomplished. We've made positive impact around the world, and we're committed to being transparent. I think, me here right now, or anyone in the press, any spokesperson you may meet, we want to be as transparent as possible with local government, with partners, and really kind of our most important people, and that's users. So anyone who's coming to TikTok and choosing to spend time with us here. So. Hope that's helpful. I mean, certainly like to address.
Yeah, good way to tee it off and just get that question out of the way.
Ripping off the Band-Aid, as they say.
Everybody has. Oh, sorry, Ryan. Go ahead.
I would just say ripping off the Band-Aid, as they'd say.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's great. Well, we're super excited to have you both on the stream. I guess the next question, just to go into here, is. So with the pandemic, what has the user base been? We've seen some numbers, but from your perspective, it's how has the user base grown, just from a daily engagement, monthly engagement standpoint?
Yeah, no, it's a good question. I think we certainly have grown, and I think we have a lot of kind of articles in the press that allude to not just growth in terms of scale, but growth in terms of just different ubiquity of user. One of my favorite points to cite is the fact that obviously we're kind of a Gen Z, young millennial focused audience, and that's kind of what people look to us for. But I think ultimately now you're now seeing this trend of co-creation and kind of co-consumption. I think we've been highlighting in the press some areas where it's not just a younger generation now. We actually have older generations coming to the platform. If that's parents, sheltering at home with kids, actually having this kind of co-creation movement where it's comedic, it's do-it-yourself cooking, it's dancing, all of these different trends emerging. And it's not just one set of people doing it anymore. It's actually now graduating into that older demographic. And for us, I think what's most exciting here is the fact that obviously we're talking to a media audience here. These are people who there's obviously a lot of focus on what can we do to embrace Gen Z. But much like other platforms here, there's always going to be that kind of looking ahead. Our brand marketing team looking ahead to seeing how do we age up. And I think this sheltering at home in the last 4 or 5 months, I'm kind of losing track on those months, but it's
all just one big blob.
Right, exactly. It's accelerated bringing in an older demographic, and I think depending on any verticals you're looking at or kind of any product, obviously we all know that Gen Z is really valuable. But there are also those high value products, or different brands or different kind of more adult focused type of entities. If those are 18 plus or 35 plus or whatever those are, there's now room for them here. And I think, I don't want to call them adults because I think we're all adults in a sense. But an older demo is coming here and finding that there is content here for them as well.
Yeah.
I think that's really what's kind of cool.
I think some of my new favorite people on TikTok have been the moms and dads that are more TikTok famous than their kids. It's truly an incredible.
It's
great.
It's a cruel irony. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
And Sam, I just want to add, it's obviously I work at TikTok now, but I'm a user first, and I first discovered the platform as a user, and I will definitely admit that as a mom of two myself, I feel like TikTok has helped keep me sane during the pandemic, and it's given me something to do with my kids that utilizes screen time, which is their favorite thing. But also doing something fun where we can actually engage together. And totally, to Sam's point, it's helping us age up a little bit, considering, everyone's experience is different and custom to their experience. And I've been, a lot of the interests that are catered to me are more TikTok moms and, doing silly things with kids, dances, moms drinking wine, whatever it may be, things that we enjoy, exercise videos. So yeah, absolutely. I think the pandemic has truly been like a phenomenon for TikTok and the broadening of the audience base.
Yeah, I mean, so we just heard anecdotally from you what kind of content is surfacing for, these older adults, as we're calling them. Have you have any data to back up like what type of content is really, buzzing amongst that community?
Yeah, that's a good question, Ron. I think, it's funny because the half-life of content on TikTok is so short in terms of what's trending that if I were to give you numbers, they're going to be like falsified tomorrow. Like it's just everything it's constantly kind of changing and evolving. Mm-hmm. I think the obvious ones are comedy. You come to TikTok and it's really easy to go find a laugh. And I think in the early stages of TikTok, we had a lot of if those are older or kind of folks who are more geared towards YouTube, who had always been those comedians like the David Dobrik's of the world, who obviously it's really easy to get a laugh from all of David's awesome content. That immediately started kind of surging. So comedy's always been there. Sports is fast up and coming. So even at home, I think it's been fun to see this evolution of, during football season, there was obviously a lot of NFL content. The NFL's, kind of an awesome partner of ours overall. You've seen this evolution from not just kind of like football or baseball or the NHL or basketball. That's still here. But now there's been an evolution of like sports at home. People doing trick shots in their basement. Pool trick shots are really cool. Trick shots with golf. Golf's really cool. Kind of an emerging trend there as well. Mm-hmm. Do it yourself. That's been a really big one, certainly while we're at home, particularly around cooking. I think we're a very unique platform in that you didn't even know that you needed to know this, but you can go find out how to make a perfectly medium rare steak on like your in-home skillet and kind of understand how to season it, how to marinate it, like all that kind of fun stuff. And that's not something I search for. That's not something I'm like going on another platform and trying to figure out how to do. Maybe I'll go like look for a recipe here, but TikTok, it just kind of dynamically appears in my feed. Hey, you're doing a lot at home and you seem to be cooking. Here's a way that like our master 18-year-old chef is doing something on the platform. So those are my personal favorites. I should note everyone's feed is dynamically fit to them as a user. So I reference sports, comedy, and cooking because that's mine. Veronica probably has something different. You both have probably different feeds as well. So there really is kind of an endless vast of content that really, yes, we have stuff that's trending. Yes, there's stuff that's really exciting. But at the end of the day, we want your For You feed to be yours and yours to be really fit to the content that you're looking for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, mine has a lot of dancing, a lot of cooking, more dancing, jokes. It's a great place for a laugh. The cooking one's interesting. Like that's something that has just been, I think, a trend across all social platforms. Whether that's like a how-to platform like like YouTube or Jump Rope. It seems like cooking has found its time to shine over these past few months. Like everybody's cooking at home, wanting like learn to cook at home, and it's just absolutely exploded. So it's interesting to see how it's now coming to a place where I think most people think about TikTok as dancing videos, but there is much more to it than just that. But for me, dancing's just fine. I love those videos.
I think that's where we started. Dancing obviously like it has its roots in Musical.ly, and obviously it's something that's been really fun. And I think it's also just the evolution of dance for different generations is kind of funny to kind of see in kind of a short span of time. But I think what you find, Scott, to your point, dance is here. It's not going anywhere. But there's also what I like to see is kind of the evolution or kind of the memification of dances. Like you see something be established in many ways, and then you see millions of different iterations of that dance from different homes, different personas, different, if it's families, if it's group dance, it's all kind of interesting to see it expand off of just one small nugget of an idea, and then it kind of explodes on the platform.
Yeah. I'll drop this one now. I got a TikTok video. I did the dancing lights, flashing lights with The Weeknd. It's out there. Go Google or TikTok, search me, Scott Orson. Let me know your thoughts. We put a lot of time and effort into that on a Friday afternoon. Yeah. It's just a little peek into my life outside of this stream. So that's like the culture of TikTok, and I think there's probably more we can talk about there, but I want to get into the brand side of it. So as a brand, almost sort of high level, what is the best way to approach this audience? I kind of relate this to Ryan, like you just can't go into the world of esports and gaming and do a logo dump and expect people to be okay with that. So just from your experience working with brands and knowing that TikTok is pretty unique in its social realm, what are some best practices, tips, tricks that if you're talking to brands they should know about before they start to potentially advertise or think about working with TikTok in some capacity?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think over time we've been understanding a little bit more of what that best practice is, and brands coming to the platform. And I think one of the best parts about TikTok is that no one has to be their perfect self, and that extends out to the brand as well. We want here. This is kind of a storytelling canvas of sorts. There's more that you can do. There's more that you can do in terms of we give you more time. We give you up to 60 seconds to create content. We give you sound. We give you full screen. And I think it really allows both brands and regular users. It gives you more opportunity to be authentic to who you are. And I think authenticity really reigns on this platform. Celebrating the real version of whoever you are, kind of the real, we like to say, real, double E, real, REAL. And I think if we kind of think of this as, and hey, that's put up on the slide, right? We like to show that as kind of like a tagline. But I think what that breaks down to is just showing a really human version of your brand, showing that brand, take a Chipotle, for example. I think Chipotle is a really good example of a brand that really recognizes, sometimes it is, it's a brand that likes to poke fun at itself in many ways. And so that kind of ethos and that persona translates really well here on TikTok. Their brands can come here and be vulnerable and kind of invite people in versus trying to tell them what to do. I think that's kind of the brilliance that we've seen in a lot of these hashtag challenges. You can invite people to participate. You're asking people to join in on something rather than saying, hey, do this now. And I think, while there definitely is value to coming to a platform and having a direct call to action, or being able to be more kind of focused in your messaging, there's a kind of sense of community on TikTok that really allows that to feel more native. It allows you to feel like you're not intrusive. You're a part of the experience. You're part of the makeup of someone's For You feed and For You experience. It truly makes it feel like you're endemic to the platform. And I think, obviously, for a while when we just launched TikTok, and this is almost 2 years ago at this point, the lowest hanging fruit was use Instagram story creative or Snapchat creative. We learned really quickly that that's not the way in. We need to figure out, kind of customize your creative. We like to say we just launched TikTok for Business, which is obviously.
You just took my next question.
Well, the tagline there, this is a segue then. Don't make ads, make TikToks. That's what it comes down to. It's not advertising. It's truly TikToks. You're making TikToks in a TikTok world that happens to be about your brand and happens to be something that celebrates your brand's message.
So in terms of working with brands then, do you think that there are any categories that work best specifically, or do you think it's more about the cultural fit? Like you alluded to Chipotle and how they like to poke fun at themselves. So which one would you weigh on?
Yeah, I think in terms of category fit, they're constantly growing. I think that's the other piece here. We've been able to tell a really good story about the TikTok community. And now what we're starting to shape more of a story for is why this community matters to your CPG brand, or why does your story matter to an automotive brand? And I think lowest hanging fruit, Ryan. Oh, sorry guys, just moved my computer. You just mentioned or alluded to gaming. Gaming was immediately and still is a space where there's a ton of synergy between a gaming audience and an esports audience and what they're doing here on TikTok. So gaming was an easy one, like right off the bat. You look at, entertainment right off the bat has been like the entire industry has been a fantastic partner to us because we're here to entertain. There's obviously when Kevin Meyer as our CEO comes on board, I think that's a really good indicator that we are an entertainment platform. So synergies there. What we're now doing as we look ahead to the second half of the year, 2021 and onwards, how do we make that work for the travel industry when, right now it's kind of a tough place to be, but we know the travel will be coming back soon. And how do we make that work for financial services? And how do we make that work for automotive again? I think those are spaces where we want to show the value of our community can be extended to absolutely anything and any different product or any different message that you're sending here. So, we definitely have some good category wins, but, our goal and our mission is to show that it really can apply to absolutely anything and everything that people take an interest in.
I want to go a little bit deeper. So we talked, I guess, briefly about the TikTok for business for marketers, but I guess what exactly is that? So is that like a dashboard that we as an agency get to like log into and it's like self-service? Is it still managed service? Like how do we access this new product or service?
Yeah, so it's a little bit of everything. I think not so much a new service, but just the way of looking at, hey, we're here to help businesses. It's our way of our global business solutions is what we call our team here. We've got our business marketing team coming out and kind of showing what services we can provide you. So, we have our managed service. So if anyone here listening has worked with us before, we have different products that you can purchase through reservation. And you have managed service through us. So dedicated account teams, if that's for kind of more enterprise clients, if that's for mid-market clients, we've got a team growing in Austin. For SMBs, we have a team there to really help provide that direct kind of hands-on service directly with you.
Yep.
But we did also launch our self-serve platform. Just came out of beta on June 30th. So self-serve, of course, allowing you to buy in a biddable capacity, so similar to other auction platforms you might be used to. And hey, that's really meant to affords you more control. Gives you a chance to optimize, to bid, to really kind of gear your media towards what you're looking for from our platform. If that's upper funnel, if that's mid funnel, if that's driving clicks, traffic, conversions. We're building a product and continually evolving what those capabilities look like. I think to date we've been really good at kind of upper to mid funnel types of tactics, and I think we're really looking forward to growing out more of those capabilities to show that we do have an audience here and we do have kind of a level of engagement here that lower funnel metrics can be achieved here on TikTok. Now, obviously, we're still evolving. We're still growing those businesses here. So, but that's a little bit of just TikTok for business in a nutshell. I think we also have services beyond that. We're building out a creative lab. So within TikTok, we're going to have kind of more creative focused and kind of more strategist focused on being able to build what works on TikTok creatively. So coming to brands and kind of showing them, if that's a response to a proposal or an RFP or even us proactively pitching a brand, say, hey, look, we think this will work really well for an apparel brand or for an entertainment brand or a retail brand over the holidays, being able to bring those packaged creative solutions in. And, rather than kind of coming in and we're not here to replace an agency, we're here to help partner with an agency.
Right.
We're here to help, like, creatively speaking. So, that's a little bit of what we're excited about. And I do want to call out really quickly here too, Veronica, fairly new to our team. We're building out our agency development team too. So just brought on brand new team. Veronica's going to be one of your IPG folks, partnering with you day in and day out.
Look at that.
Look at that.
Everybody, here's your first introduction to like your new IPG agency contact over at TikTok, Veronica.
Yeah, and I'm actually super excited to work with IPG again. I'd worked with IPG pretty much for the bulk of my career at my various positions that I've held. So I know the team well. I love the account teams, and I'm excited to work with you guys again.
Yeah, no, we're excited to have you. So let's dive into some of the actual different ad products. So what is available? Are there big high impact takeovers like a YouTube masthead in some way, shape, or form? I'm just curious to hear from the team here. Like, what are the ways in which brands can make TikToks? Like what are those ad units? How do they work? What are these things called challenges? that only TikTok really has, and not any other platform. Can you shed some light on, what's available?
Yeah, happy to. We'll give you some of the quick hits here. So you mentioned kind of a YouTube masthead, obviously high reach, high impact. Everyone's going to see it that day of.
A lot of money.
Sometimes depending on what the user scale looks like, it might be going up. These top views we have something called a top view that is similar in terms of what the tactic looks like, but I actually think it even goes a layer deeper. If you actually visit TikTok today, you're going to open up your platform. If you've been a user for over 7 days, we won't advertise to you until you've been on as a user 13 plus age-wise for over 7 days. You're going to see an ELF campaign. So eyes, lips, face. If anyone knows, that's the acronym, but ELF is the cosmetics brand, the cosmetic company. We're running a top view today. First thing that you see when you open the platform, it is full screen. It is sound on. First 3 seconds is just kind of the screen. So yeah, there you go.
Here we go.
Perfect. You just saw from Scott, after 3 seconds, you see it dissolve, or you see the user interface, the normal user interface dissolve in. And it behaves just like a regular ad unit here. So first thing you see, right now in this quarter, we guarantee you 100% share of voice in the market that you're buying in. Mm-hmm. Cap it at 5x frequency. So, I mean, in reality, you're getting the most premium placement up to 5 times a day, depending on how many times you visit the platform day of. And a cool part about this, it's equal parts kind of reach driver. So again, hit everyone in some capacity, but also given that it is sound on, given that it is a more immersive, it does have that kind of engagement factor. There are some sort of like mid or lower funnel tactics that do come into play here. These actually drive on average here in the U.S. something between 14 and 18% click-through rate.
Wow.
Which is a real number. Yeah. So these are great at getting you to a destination. The ELF one today, Scott, that you just showed, that's going to their hashtag challenge, which I'll get into in just a second. But you have instances where
it can be like a live walkthrough. You talk about it, and I'll click through.
Go for it. But we just ran one too. If we've got any folks on the line on the Quibi team, congrats by the way, on the big Quibi win. If you look over there, you'll see you click in, and there's actually they did a Die Hard spot for Quibi. Click right through, and you're actually taken to Quibi.com. So ways of kind of driving traffic there as well, which is a pretty exciting unit these days.
Yeah, no, that's that. Wow, sorry, getting all caught up. I before we go into the second ad unit, I just want to take a moment and just like highlight something. So like you notice that it was sound on. So traditionally, when we talk about social, Facebook, Instagram, people are listening with sound off, and that was always something that I think that was built in the creative. How it works is that design your creative, your ad unit, whatever it might be, with sound off. Mm-hmm. Is that different here on TikTok? Are people listening with sound on, and should we be thinking and designing creative that is has that sound incorporated into it?
So yeah, that's it's a great call out, because I think Veronica just mentioned she comes from an agency background. I come from an agency background as well, and for years the message creatively was always now it's time to design for a sound off environment. Design for a space where you may have subtitles. You may need to find tactics that are going to engage users early. Being able to kind of capture attention in your first 3 seconds with a brand or with a message that's going to catch someone's eye. Maybe they turn sound on, but make sure you can experience it with the sound off. I think one of the really cool things that we have happening here is that your sound's on the whole time. And even if your phone is muted, I come to TikTok and the sound is on. So, we like to show examples of creative where if it's supported by a popular music track, or if it's supported by, let's say it's a stand-up comedian bit that, we're promoting, trying to get people to drive into, like a tune into the stand-up special. Mm-hmm. But if there are no comments there, if there are no subtitles there, like you can't even hear them. Now that you have sound as that other dimension and layer, it just gives you more opportunity to engage your user in a more in a deeper way. Obviously sound is just that other dimension that we're not typically used to on our phones and devices. It gives you a chance to actually capture more attention, potentially drive maybe it's longer dwell time. Maybe people will complete the video at a higher propensity because the sound's on, and just allow you like another creative angle where for years, creative agencies, we love the big 30-second TV spot, and being able to kind of tap back into that kind of creative psyche. We're going to use sound to be something, to have something that's really going to kind of drive interest. we're giving that back. We're giving that back to kind of social and digital teams in such a way that they haven't been able to have before.
Yeah,
Great.
When
Great
you're talking
answer.
about these creative capabilities, obviously sound is one of the premier things that sets TikTok apart. Is this kind of going to be rolled into that creative studio offering in terms of best practices that you're affording to these brands? And then also, what else is going to be involved in those creative capabilities? Are you going to be able to partner with prominent TikTok influencers? Are you going to be able to, what is the full gamut?
Yeah, it's a great question. You just raised something else. Probably should have mentioned even earlier with TikTok for Business, but we do have direct access to what we call, or what we've branded, the TikTok Creators Marketplace. And what this is it's an immersive tool or platform where you can go discover talent on TikTok. You can find TikTok and have a deeper layer of or a better understanding of efficacy of talent on platform, and even go so far as just getting a deeper level of data and a deeper level of understanding of what influencers, what impact they truly have here on the platform. So you can understand a little bit of, let's take David Dobrik again as an example. We know that he has a global presence, but you can actually hone in on where that global presence is. What the of his content, what sort of engagement rates come out of his content. Just have a better understanding of, when you're going for different influencers, what's the value? What are you getting from this influencer? You may be partnering with them. TikTok Creators Marketplace gives you those tools, and it gives you a chance to directly go partner with an influencer. In essence, you can email them, their manager, text them, call them, anything of that sort, and negotiate your partnership with an influencer. And then, you're off to the races. You're able to start creating content here on TikTok. So I like to think of influencers as kind of a great first way in for a lot of brands in terms of understanding how can creative work on my platform here? How can we make sure that if I pair with an influencer and I have the influencer talking about me, or having the influencer as my message, that you're going to have strong content. You're going to have an engaged audience when you're working with that influencer talent. And then similarly, how can we then take that content and turn it into advertising? We have ways of being able to, boost, maybe the simplest way to kind of frame it, but ways of amplifying content within paid media where it is an influencer's post, but we're actually turning it into an advertisement. So, you'll have their disclosures, you'll have the hashtag partner, or, whatever it is that you may choose to use to disclose. And then, of course, you get a call to action. So you're now using that influencer to drive an action. If that's driving them to site, driving them to a page on TikTok, driving them to any other kind of destination, and, utilizing their voice to kind of show your brand's message within the TikTok ecosystem.
Yeah, and then what's the threshold to be an influencer on that platform? Like, can Scott and I sign up and get ourselves on there and start monetizing our TikToks from now on, or?
These are the real questions right here. How do we become TikTok famous? I got the first video out there. What's the next step?
Of course. So, Ryan, I don't know of any particular threshold, so I'm probably not the one to answer that question. But what I can say, in knowing the talent team and knowing our content team as well as I do, it's all about kind of practice makes perfect. It's all about putting yourself out there. Obviously, being your authentic self. And Scott, I hope when you dance, you are your authentic self. You do spread that message.
You better believe. I'm living my best life when I dance.
I would expect nothing less.
Dance like no one's watching.
Right.
Oh, well, first and foremost, they're not watching. But yes, always.
But it's all about, getting content out there, post regularly. I think the beauty about our platform here is that in this For You environment, it doesn't matter how many people follow you. Obviously following is a really important metric, but at the end of the day, this For You feed is all about curating a playlist of video that's truly for you, and is truly, in the same way, Spotify, obviously, a big partner with you all. In the same way that Spotify can create kind of discover weekly playlists based on your listening habits, this For You feed is going to be all about what you like as a user. So you may see content from a user that you don't follow, you've never seen them before, but if that piece of content is a dance that resonates with you, you're going to see their content, and you're going to see their content in your feed. So as a user, that might mean, let's say you post once every day in a week. So you have 7 videos there. 5 of those videos may be seen by nobody, just because for whatever reason that video didn't pop, that video didn't really resonate. But 2 of those videos could, quote unquote, go viral. And the reason why they would do that is because it's content that really resonates with the community, and it's content that is really tapping into what people are looking for. So, you get a shot, Scott, you might get a video, and, you might have however many followers you do right now, but if you have a dance that, really takes off, or let's say it's gas, let's say it's something that just makes people laugh, or anything of that sort. You could get tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, even millions of views. Nothing's stopping you from doing that.
Well, I think that's one of the things that really sets TikTok apart too, is that really anybody can be discovered on TikTok without having a specific threshold like you would on other platforms.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're following the content, not the people.
Exactly.
Which is great. But then, so I'm going to circle us back into some ad products here. So we had that first one, that like brand takeover, that top unit. So what other ad units are there in there? I want to say the hashtag challenge for last, because I think that's super interesting. But for example, is it all in-feed video? Are there static images? And then my second question will be, because I like asking two questions at once. Branded lenses? Do you do like, are we doing AR stuff in the future potentially, kind of similar to what Snapchat is doing? What are those options looking like?
Yeah, it's a loaded question, but great question, Scott. So we do in-feed. So in-feed is obviously kind of your standard in-feed. So you are susceptible to seeing an ad every 5-6 video, something of that nature.
Okay.
And that is truly just in swipe capacity on TikTok. And I like to kind of preface this. On TikTok, you swipe up and you click to go somewhere. So you swipe up to get to the next video, you click to go to a destination. A little bit of the inverse from other platforms here. So it's kind of that like intuitive feed of just being able to swipe through, and makes it very easy for you to kind of keep going through your feed. It's dynamic, so sometimes you might see an ad, and it's not until you might see a brand in the last 10 seconds you realize, oh wow, that was an ad.
Right.
It's not just you could think it's kind of endemic to the platform, just another video. Yeah. We do what we call branded effects. So a little different from other platforms here. Obviously lenses, you're referencing some of our favorites from Snapchat. Obviously some of those really kind of tangible things that people can use in our space. We have a version of it called branded effects, where we can create something that is obviously unique to you as a brand on the platform. And we're really giving you kind of a tool to tell stories. I think that's kind of the difference here. We're not giving you something just to shoot on your own accord and kind of let it sit on your phone and not maybe you share it with somebody as a one-off. But on TikTok, it's much more about utilizing that tangible effect to tell a story. You're using something for 15 seconds. If that is an effect we did with Fruit by the Foot, where it's kind of a different, you give different, kind of like different tiles that were all able to emerge from use of Fruit by the Foot. They had the branding was involved, of course, but then you also had their kind of iconic coloring kind of all over this different effect. And it allowed people to, in any capacity, kind of use this effect for 10, 15, 45 seconds, however long they wanted to, but have it be something that was tied to the brand. So it was kind of a branded version of your video. And people used it because it was a fun effect. They wanted to use it because it helped tell their story. We are introducing AR into our branded effects. So right now we have what's called like a branded scan, which is essentially, I like to show an example where you are kind of holding your phone up. Let's say there's an example we show with this is overseas, this wasn't in the US, but there was a Starbucks mug. And this branded scan, you could see kind of like the emblem. And then as you scan it, you see a little kind of skeleton man kind of jump up on your coffee mug, and then you a dive into the coffee. Yeah, so it's kind of a funny using your brand and your own IP to recognize that and then have something happen on screen. So something very kind of interactive, immersive, kind of very cool in that sense.
That's awesome.
And
so
then
wait, hold on. Let's not just blow past how cool that is. Because that's something that I think we've talked to Snapchat about, and like they're working on. There's some third parties like Image Metrics that has that capabilities, but we haven't seen it on like a big scale. I mean, it's, again, aside from Snapchat, which is now coming out with that same thing. So basically, like, do you have to train the logo to be recognized, or is it like a QR code that is being used? Like, what exactly is the thing that's going to trigger the experience?
Right, that's a great question. So you would work with our team. We like to use our TikTok emblem as a really good example of it, where we used to have these pillows that had kind of the TikTok logo on it, which I like. It's a music note with a T. It's kind of a funny way of making it up. If I am scanning it, that's why it's called a branded scan. If I scan that logo, we now have the technology built into this branded effect where the T would then kind of like rise off of that pillow. So you saw the T kind of come up and like kind of pixelate itself together, and now give different angles. You're seeing different sides of the TikTok of the TikTok logo here. So something that's obviously, I think the reason why it's cool is because we're rooting it within your brand, your IP that is recognizable to the outside world. Something that's, obviously it's immersive. It's something, when you're using the camera to kind of do this yourself, and you're kind of bringing it to life. It's a new tactic. We've recently shared it, but it's something that we're really excited for. So that's the extent. Obviously AR is a big word. There's a lot of stuff that gets involved in AR, but this is our first kind of foray, understanding what AR capabilities we have in that effects space.
Right on, Ryan. I feel like I've been hogging all the questions. I'm just like firing from the hip here. So I want to toss it to you.
No, it's. I mean, Sam was doing such a great job explaining all the ad products, and that's obviously the meat of the conversation. So I don't want to take away and steal his thunder, but I would just weave in terms of when we're thinking about how our brands can activate with you guys, and we're going through all of these products. Like, what would be helpful, I think, for the teams would be, how do you kind of enter the waters with TikTok, and then how do you do something, a big brand activation? So what are the costs associated with an entry-level campaign, and then some of those flashier stuff that you guys offer?
That's a great question. I mean, we have dedicated account teams and brand partnership managers and account managers. We want to build a team that can truly be strategic partners to you. So we have folks that you can directly work with, if it's through myself, if it's through Veronica, and all of our different teams, to connect you to the right source, to the right people. Come to us and we can help, obviously help you understand the platform, but also help onboard you, set you up if that's in managed service, or that's in self-service, or that's in both. So now that we are kind of in a self-service platform, number of clients and brands and partners we used to work with within the IBG family, where there was kind of a beta terms and agreement to get onto self-serve, no longer there. We have different terms, of course, now, but not a beta. Totally can come on, and we can help kind of onboard you in that capacity. I like to say, if you are paid social marketers, you're folks who are hands-on keyboards, you're activating in a lot of other social platforms, or even search platforms in many ways. It's like riding a bike. You're going to come in and you're going to understand what it is we're looking to achieve. They're different, certainly different nuances, but we have a lot of the same buy types. We are building out kind of our targeting capacities, but it truly is something where we're not reinventing the wheel. We're building something that we're bringing a biddable model to a platform that just has a very, very engaged user base. So that's number one. I think if you're looking to come to the platform, let's say you're not looking, maybe you're looking more for guarantees. Maybe you're looking more for those reservation products, if those are top views or challenges, which Scott, we can still touch on in a second.
For sure. That's,
we'll
I got that one sitting here ready to go in after we talk about some estimated pricing.
Easy killer.
Yeah, and just it doesn't have to be exact. Like, we're not going to hold you to it, but it's just like those estimated like minimums. It's like, hey, if you want to come in and do that top product.
It's a great question. We have a rate card that evolves every quarter. So as you can imagine, with our user scale, those rates have gone up. So we actually were doing I was doing kind of an offsite with the team just this morning, and we were talking a little bit about the evolution from last year to now. And there has been quite a bit of evolution from rate cards. So if you're trying to do in-feed, you're trying to do kind of the basic stuff. It starts at reserved in-feed is a fixed $10 CPM. So do your math. If you invest $20,000, you're going to get 2 million impressions. So that's some pretty basic stuff there. But we do have a minimum. We have a minimum that's actually $25K to invest in the reserved in-feed. And depending on your approach and depending on kind of what the KPI or what the intent of your campaign is, we do ask for a 5K minimum a day from the reserved in-feed, and that's largely kind of baked in inventory, making sure that you secure the right inventory and you have the right presence over the course of, however long you're looking to invest. These top views, little different. Again, they're 100% share of voice. So right now, price tag on a weekday is $380K. Now again, $380K, but we're estimating out of that you're going to hit 91 million impressions on the day. So again, just to kind of put that into perspective, if you actually do out that math, it's a very low CPM, but it's also allowing you, if it's a 5x frequency cap, 91 million impressions, you're hitting a pretty substantial user base that day. So that's one way of doing it. Weekends, they go a little higher. So weekends, we do see an uptick in TikTok. I think it's largely because, hey, we're out of work, we're not in school, we're not doing anything of that sort. We're going to spend all day on TikTok. So in theory, more people coming to the platform.
Yep.
We see data. We see that increase. 425K for a weekend top view, and we're estimating about 100 million impressions. So again, big numbers in terms of what you can deliver. Challenges.
So just I would say quickly, what about the top view? Can we geo target that? So if we want to do like US only or DMAs,
Sure.
or is it just like across everybody?
Yeah, currently no. Currently no. Right now it's a 13 plus product. And again, I think it's all in kind of the ethos of the product. A top view, similar to maybe a promoted trend or something else, something you might be, or a masthead, something that you might be looking for on other platforms. The intent is really to have everybody see you. We want everybody to see you that day of. So right now there is no targeting.
Okay.
In our roadmap, we're exploring ways of being able to afford more of that. No timing necessarily on when we'll be able to launch, different targeting capacities for something like a top view. But for now, if you want to reach everybody, this is the way to do it.
Love it. I guess now would be the time to go into hashtag challenges. So this is
Yeah.
So we talked about some like, so we got the basic products here. We have a top view that has like mass awareness, mass reach. You literally hit everybody on TikTok for a day. It seems right. That's kind of what the time frame is. Then we have in-feed video. So like that's more like your standard, just video CPVs. Run that, get that reach and frequency. Videos are shown once every 5 TikToks, and there's frequency capping on that. And then there's these things called hashtag challenges, which are just create viralness across the platform. So I guess first, what is a hashtag challenge? And then 2, how do brands get involved with that?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think hashtags are looked at a little differently on TikTok versus other platforms here. Because here, hashtags in general, branding aside, hashtags here are an invitation, right? They're a creative brief. They're a little bit of a thought starter for people to create content against the challenge here. And we really saw kind of the birth of challenges happen, far before brands were here. Challenges are really a means of prompting people to do something. And, how often is, I'm sure all of us on the line here have experienced this. We feel like we want to say something on our social platforms, but we're not sure what to say. Challenges have always been that thing to kind of prompt people with something. So challenges on their own accord are exciting. There's a certain virality to it. I don't want to say you will go viral, but you give yourself an opportunity to co-create. Do something with people within the community of TikTok here. With brand and hashtag challenges, what we're doing is now brands are the ones writing the brief. Brands are the ones putting it out to the community. Hey, partake or join us in this sense or in this world or in this capacity. And what it really does is it invites people in versus trying to push a message out. And by inviting people in, you now create kind of a whole cascade of UGC that is all in the voice of your brand's message. It's all about the brand being affixed within that challenge, whatever that looks like. So, I just referenced ELF today, Scott. You're going to see tomorrow that page for ELF's hashtag, you're going to see that there's going to be a bunch of content up at the top of its hashtag challenge page that all responded to this challenge. It's all content that was built out of what ELF kind of presented to the world. They used a top view today. That top view drives in the hashtag challenge. So today is all about people seeing the challenge, seeing influencers partake. So influencers are a key part of this. They kind of they're here to show it to you. If kind of the challenge is at the top of the hill, it's a snowy hill. If the influencer's at the top, the influencer kind of push them down the hill, and then all of a sudden kind of you see the snowball kind of formulate. That's what the influencer's doing. They're the ones who are kind of pushing the prompt out there, showing how to do it. Day 2, you're going to see a bunch of people have responded to that challenge, and now ELF has this entire feed or this entire page filled with content that's responding back to their challenge. So really powerful and just helping a brand, rather than kind of try to push the message out, it's more about inviting people in and letting people respond to the message and create a community of your brand.
Yeah.
And is there? Oh, Ryan, sorry. Go ahead before I ask my question.
All good. I was just.
Sorry. Now series activated. I don't know what's going on. I would say, is there a certain number of influencers that a brand should think about for a TikTok, like a hashtag challenge, like 2 or 3, 10? Because obviously, that's a key part of the activation. Sure. It's if you don't have somebody actually doing it and promoting it, it's not going to go anywhere. It's what's a good number to think about of influencers that you should be activating with?
Great question. And I think, the answer has definitely been evolving. When I chat with any specific account team or our data scientist team, I'm hearing 5 is typically our best practice. But, don't hold me to it, though, because I think it always depends on the challenge itself. Always depends on the message, always depends on kind of how recognizable is a brand, is certain IP. how recognizable are the talent that you're partnering with. So sometimes I've seen challenges be really successful with 3. I've seen them be really successful with 12. So it's not one size fits all, but I would say on average we typically say 5. 5 is kind of your sweet spot.
5. That's good.
Good to know. I just want to take a second to divert to a question in chat from American Gooner, and says, from the self-service side of things, how long does it take to get a campaign in market? And I'll just kind of elaborate further on that. What about from the managed service side of things?
Very good question. I would say currently now, of course, there's always the component of it. If you're coming onto the platform, we want to make sure that if it's your legal teams, if you're an SMB and you're coming on, if you're kind of a small to medium business, you're coming onto the platform yourself. It's all about making sure that you kind of align to, coming onto a new platform. So oftentimes, if we're working with an agency, within IPG, we'll align our legal teams. We'll make sure that all the terms are okay. So sometimes that's your variable, just from a timing perspective. But with certain alignments, it's a matter of days. It's a couple of business days that you'd be able to onboard onto a self-service platform. I will note, if you're looking to come onto the platform, you're uploading creative. We typically ask 24 hours from an ad review perspective. And we have actual human beings reviewing creative coming on. So always like to say, if you are launching something, give yourself that 24-hour window to ensure your creative is approved. We obviously, like other platforms, have certain creative guidelines and policies. So I'd say at minimum, give yourself that 24 hours. If you're looking to launch something on a Friday and you've never come to the platform before, you've never spoken to us before, I'd say probably if we're for safekeeping, let's give yourself a week. Let's give yourself a full week to make sure you're coming on. From a managed service perspective, there are different lead times. So of course, if you're trying to do a top view, trying to do a hashtag challenge, those lead times are going to vary. Those are always going to be hashtag challenges. We like to say, we've seen it done faster, but let's sometimes make sure we're building in 3, 4, 5 weeks into a campaign development at minimum. Have seen it done faster, but I think that's best practice. Top view, we like to ask 3 business days to make sure you've got time to get us the creative, make sure it's a spec, make sure it's approved, making sure that you're kind of exhibiting best practices. That's always a key one. In terms of just coming on and getting a brand on the platform and getting kind of in feed ready to go, I would say probably keep to that 48 to 72 hours as well. Make sure that you give yourself the time from a managed service perspective to get on. There's always different nuance though. So we always like to inside of
we're not going to hold you. We're not going to hold you to it. You just as a rough guide. It's like, hey, what can our brands, what can our creators kind of expect? So a week for the managed service, or a week for the I already lost it. Self-service. About 2 weeks for the managed service. Yeah, right. Yeah.
And our job is to make it easier for you. So of course, if you're coming in and there are certain nuances or things that happen immediately, as long as we just set expectation with you and you with us, obviously we can kind of work together and make sure we're as realistic as possible in setting those timelines. So it's always the give and take of making sure that we just keep each other aligned.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're running down to the last 10 minutes of the stream here, and I have Ryan, I have more questions. So do you have any questions before
unsurprised.
Before I start firing at 9?
Well, just remember, you got to get the Final Four in, too.
Oh, Ryan, I can't hear you.
Oh,
can you hear me?
Oh, there you are.
Yeah, I was saying, I don't want to slow you down, but make sure you leave enough time to get that Final Four in, too.
True. All right, so we'll keep these quick. I already forgot what I was going to say. Oh, well, we'll move on to the second question. You guys, I literally lost both my questions.
I'll ask one while we're on the topic of challenges. What are some of your guys' favorite branded examples of challenges, and what are some of your favorite non-branded examples?
Oh, that's a good one. Veronica, do you have one you want to jump in with? I can give this some thought. Oh, she's muted.
Muted, sorry. So the white bit challenge for me was actually one of my favorites. And then the latest the Chipotle challenge. Sorry, was it actually? And again, forgive me. This is week 4 for me. So these are just the ones that I've seen.
You don't know everything about everything at this point. No. Come on.
The Chipotle has always been a favorite one. We did a great one. We did one with Fortnite that was pretty cool. It's kind of called the Emote Royale Challenge, where we actually challenged people to come to the platform. And actually, I think the end result was Fortnite would, based on some of the favorite emotes. So if anyone didn't know, like an emote's a dance in the Fortnite game. If anyone's wondering what this word is, Fortnite actually created created the emotes against some of the fan favorites or crowd favorites out of that challenge, which was pretty cool. Pretty cool to see that one. That's branded. I think non-branded, like, it changes every day. I think the Wipe It Down challenge, if anyone has seen that one, it's been pretty cool lately. It's like there's a cue on the song. It's like wipe, wipe, wipe. And it wasn't like a Lysol challenge, but I think, obviously it would have been really cool to kind of find a branded integration. Maybe we find that one today. But like you're wiping against a mirror and you do a quick wipe, and then on the third swipe, you're like in a different garb, costume, makeup, whatever. It looks different person. And it was funny to see the different interpretations of that one. So
I saw recently
that was a cool organic one that kind of came, and I don't want to say it came and went because it was big. Everyone kind of knew it, but that had a big moment the last month or so.
I think it's still going on. I actually just saw the other day, it was a Jada De Laurentiis. She did it where she wipes, and then it was an image of her daughter, like right after she wiped. That was cute.
That's good. The
Awesome.
Yeah, that one was fun. That one was entertaining. So people are creative on what goes into all of that, and how they make that happen. It's pretty impressive. I remember my question. It was about measurement, so not as fun as. Thanks, Ryan. Not as fun as Ryan's question, but like when it comes to measurement, like what can we measure? How does a brand show that like this was successful? Is it click-through rates? Is it impressions? Is it CPVs? Is it click outs and drives to traffic to other locations? Like what are our what's our set of measurement tools currently?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think so. We're going to afford you a lot of that kind of first-party measurement, so able to kind of show you those key metrics, just like what you referenced there, Scott. I think always dependent on your KPI, right? If you're looking for reach, we'll be able to show you unique reach. We'll be able to show you impressions. We'll be able to show you everything that kind of your full gamut of what you're touching. If you're looking for traffic, we're able to give you those clicks, that click-through rate, the efficacy of how many people you drove there. Efficiency, things like CPCs and CPMs and all of those different costs. Obviously, they're bidding tools within the self-service model to do that, but you're also able to measure it yourself as well and show how effective your dollar was in kind of driving certain intent. So, we have a lot of those kind of first-party metrics all available. If you're in the self-service tool, that's all right there on your dashboard. If it's managed service, we're going to be reporting on that for you, so we're able to grant that to you. We have, we work extensively with a lot of third party as well. So, from a brand lift perspective, we work extensively with Nielsen and Kantar. So being able to utilize brand lift study to really show you, like think of it as like a nice little report card to show you, just how much lift or just how much intent, favorability, whatever metric you're looking for, that hashtag challenge or that top view drove at any given time. And I will note on that point, we do over-index in that space. So when you look at hashtag challenges, they do a really good job of driving awareness and driving intent. And so if you are a new studio, you're launching a new film, and you are trying to drive resonance and drive people, get people excited about if it's new IP or existing IP, brand lift, these brand lift studies are going to show you, they're going to give you that report card to show you just how well you did. So awesome. I think that's one space, and expanding those kind of measurement capabilities. So, we will be launching different betas with Moat obviously being a key viewability partner, and giving or affording the opportunity to understand a little bit more that third-party validation. And again, I think our measurement and data sciences team is probably one of the fastest-growing teams that we have within our group. Just knowing that it's a big way forward for us, and making sure that we're telling you the full story in terms of the impact TikTok is having on your business.
Fantastic. Yeah. That's awesome. Ryan, got any other questions? Things you want to throw in here?
Just going to say that we're in the last 5 minutes now, so we like to end the stream with the 4 questions that we ask all of our partners when they come on every week. And we've touched on all of these briefly, but we like to package it up in one nice, tight little clip. So what is the scale? What are the ad products? What is the speed to market? And how much does it cost? And feel free to just give bite-sized answers to all those.
I like it. Okay.
Yeah, keep everything
Scale,
under 30 seconds. Keep it
fair.
real short.
No pressure.
I'll give you really quick tidbits. Scale is fastly evolving. I don't even have the exact number for you that I can quote, just given that we're growing so fast. What's number 2?
What are the ad products?
Ad products. So let me know. I think we saw the most downloads of TikTok in March and April ever. Not even just our platform. But I think once you put a billion number affixed to those downloads, it's obviously a big global scale.
Yeah. It says 2 billion downloads. You guys crossed that in April.
We did, thanks to a really big March. So obviously a lot of scale there. And then Ryan, I'm so sorry. Ad products. You want number of? Okay. So we sell 5 ad products. Those are kind of the big ones. You got your top views. You got your brand takeovers, which is kind of a similar to a top view, not as long. It doesn't have sound on, so it's a 5-second video, up to 5 seconds versus being the 60-second video top view can be. But same positioning. Hashtag challenges, of course. You got your in-feed videos, and you've got your branded effects. A couple of the nuances of products, and I'm sorry, Scott, if I go past my 30 seconds. We have something else called a 1-day max, which is another really cool product in that it's not quite that you can open up the platform, you see 3 regular videos, and then you're guaranteed the first ad position in that 4th video. 1x frequency right now, but it's another one where it's it's an in-feed product, but it gives you that premium quality, right? You're guaranteeing everyone's going to see it. We're guaranteeing it's going to see it first time you open your platform that day of, and it's getting fresh eyes, it's getting that fresh perspective. So that's one other one I wanted to call out. Seen a lot of success with that one, and definitely kind of see a surge of interest in that. If the top view might be a little much, or you're not looking for something of that much impact, or top views, I should note you can't deep link top views, so I can't take you to like an app experience, but I can deep link 1-day max. So if you're an app product, if you're a game, if you're a streaming service, anything of that sort, that 1-day max can deep link you into that experience. Top view can't do that, so that's another selling point there. But my 30 seconds are up there, so those are your products.
And
that's perfect.
Last 2, speed to market, and what's it cost?
Yeah, speed to market, it's dependent on what you're looking to do. I think, if you're going to give yourself enough time, give yourself 7 to 14 business days. I think that's just the safest spot to be. If you're looking to do something custom, let's work together and figure it out together.
Fantastic. And then last but not least, just like those minimums to get started on TikTok, and a minimum that also gives good scale and read of an effective campaign.
Yeah, it's a good question. So I think anything statistically significant, I think the minimum for in-feed reservation is 25K. I think if you're going to find something that you really in order to draw real stats from it, and again, I'm going to reference more enterprise level clients here. I think it's different for market or kind of a small to medium business. I think enterprise level is probably 100K in that space, just to make sure you're really getting the true efficacy of our platform. In the auction environment, we don't have any minimum, but you do need to, is what we call kind of top up your credit on the account. We always recommend kind of 50K or above there. And again, I would say anywhere between that 50 to 100K in the self-service is going to give you a really good perspective on what sort of efficacy you're able to draw from the platform.
Beautiful.
Fantastic. Well said. Well said.
We got 1 minute left. Are there any TikTok channels that we're not watching that we should?
Washington Post is a favorite. Get on the Washington Post. It's
okay.
Same way that The Office isn't about selling paper. Their handle, it's not about making news, but a little bit more of what's happening in the newsroom. So it's a really funny take. And Dave, who runs the account, he's hysterical. He's doing it all from home right now. Really love Washington Post. So check it out.
What about you, Veronica?
You're putting me on the spot right now. I don't have one right now that I can actually recommend yet, but talk to me in another 4 weeks and then I'll be able to give you more.
All right, I'm expecting a list of 5 the next time that we connect. Well, with that though, Sam, Veronica, thank you guys so much for being here. It was an excellent time chatting with you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Guys.
Yes, thank you. It was fantastic.
And Scott, thanks as always for co-anchoring.
Hey, doing what I can.
And to all the viewers, we'll catch you next time. Bye.